The orbital stadium held its breath. The 4,000-meter final of the 412th Pan-Galactic Games was about to start. On the track, 8 athletes. The announcer called Jack Lar of Qualaxy the favorite, Tyler Brooks in lane 8 a gesture. The start. Jeckler bolted. Tyler dropped to last instantly, a polite afterthought. Then Tyler's stride changed. He wasn't just running, he was chasing prey. He swept past the mid-pack. Then the leaders. Then Jack Lar himself. The champion's 4 legs fought, but Tyler ate the track. In minutes, he lapped the field. He crossed the finish line alone. The clock stopped. The galaxy held its breath. Silence. No cheers. The crowd stared, unblinking. What had just happened?
They said just show up. Lose gracefully. This isn't losing.
4 months earlier. 4 months earlier, the invitation arrived. Earth's Foreign Office had a clear directive.
We send a delegation. 200 volunteers. No professionals. They'll compete. They'll lose. The galaxy will find us charming.
So they found Tyler Brooks, a lanky postal worker who ran on his lunch breaks.
They saw my 5K time and asked if I'd like to see the stars.
They found Sofia Mendez, a grandmother whose morning laps impressed the local coach.
I said yes before they finished asking. My grandkids call me the mermaid.
They found Anna Kessler, a teenage chess prodigy who analyzed games in her head.
They showed me the sim interface. It was like chess, but with lasers. I couldn't say no.
The team gathered at the Earth Training Complex, a motley crew of 200.
You are ambassadors. Smile. Thank them. And if you win, well, try not to.
The silver transport ship hummed with quiet anticipation. Tyler stood at the viewport, Earth shrinking behind them.
Last week I was delivering packages. Now I am leaving the whole solar system.
The ship slipped into hyperspace, a silent roar of light. Hours became days of star-streaked nothing. Then the orbital stadium filled the screens. A ring of gold and cyan, more city than arena. They walked the concourse. Alien eyes followed every step. 1,000 silent judgments.
They look at us like we're museum exhibits. Smile, everyone.
They think we're harmless. That might be useful.
Remember, we are guests. Be gracious, no matter how condescending they sound.
An official approached, his crest raised in a gesture of polite dismissal. He welcomed the delightful human delegation with a voice like velvet sandpaper.
Velvet sandpaper. And they think we're the joke.
The opening ceremony began with a symphony of light and gravity-defying acrobatics. Delegation after delegation paraded their cultural might. One species rode living starships. Another projected their entire evolutionary history in a 3-minute hologram. Then came Earth. Robert Lynn led, holding a simple flag. The team walked, 200 strong in navy and silver. No floats, no light shows, just humans, smiling nervously as if they'd wandered into the wrong gala. The Galactic press would later call them charming. Harmless, a diplomatic gesture. That night, in the delegation quarters, the gravity of the event settled over them. The laughter was brittle.
You all know the mission. We smile, we shake hands, and we go home with no medals. That's the plan.
And if a medal happens by accident,
Then we apologize profusely for the misunderstanding.
The first heats would begin at first light. The stadium hummed, awaiting its challengers. The 4,000-meter heats started. Tyler Brooks, in the third heat, kept pace with the leaders for a lap, then pulled ahead as if bored.
This feels like my morning jog. Only the scenery's better.
The alien announcers fumbled. Their screens showed Tyler's time, a mere second off the reigning champion's personal best. In the aquatic center, Sofia Mendez touched the wall 2 full body lengths ahead of the next swimmer in her heat.
in the water I forget my age. The galaxy should count its blessings.
Anna Kessler dismantled her first strategic combat sim opponent in under 4 minutes. The alien player never saw her queen.
Simple, faint. They'll learn to watch the flanks.
By midday, a cluster of alien journalists surrounded the human delegation. Their questions dripped with confusion.
We're not pros. I deliver mail. I just run because I can.
That evening, the leaderboard showed 4 humans qualified for finals. The stadium's hum changed to a murmur, and then the impossible happened. Tyler Brooks did not just win the 4,000-meter final. He shattered every record the Galaxy thought absolute. The stadium fell into a stunned hush. Not a cheer, just disbelief. Within the hour, Tyler stood in a sterile lab, arms outstretched as alien scanners probed for band augmentation.
They won't find anything unless they count 2 functioning lungs as cheating.
The scanners flashed green, clean. No gene mods, no stimulants, nothing but human biology. The official report left alien scientists baffled. No plausible explanation for human performance. High Commissioner Drack reviewed the findings with a tightening jaw.
This cannot be natural. There is a secret here. I will find it.
But the tests were exhaustive. Tyler was merely human, and that, it seemed, was enough. The first gold hung around Tyler's neck, and the Galaxy's unease grew. Sofia Mendez dove into the 200-meter final as if she'd been swimming in alien pools her whole life. She surfaced alone, a new record blazing, and the aquatic center's silence was deafening.
I learned to swim in the Amazon. This pool is just warm tea. No current, no piranhas.
Then she won the medley too, her third gold, and even the alien coaches started shaking their heads. Anna Kessler faced the Galaxy's finest tacticians and left them staring at defeat screens.
Their strategies are elegant, but humans cheat. We think outside the box and outside the board.
By nightfall, Earth's medal count had climbed past 60. The leaderboard looked like a human roster. An alien journalist asked, "Are you sure you are not augmented?" Tyler just shrugged. The question was no longer if humans would win medals. It was whether they would leave any for the rest. The press conference lights flickered. The Marith Confederacy's hospitality was wearing thin. An emergency scientific symposium convened. Holograms displayed human anatomy next to galactic norms. Alien researchers presented their findings. Persistence hunting, sweat glands, fine motor control, pattern recognition, no augmentation anywhere.
Explain this to the delegations. They evolved by running down antelope on a savanna, and we're to believe that's fair?
Drack called for a formal inquiry. The humans submitted to every test again. Results, 0 illegal augmentation.
My species spent 1,000,000 years learning to survive by outthinking predators. The games ask us to think. We can't simply unlearn that.
The inquiry panel cleared them. But in Drack's quarters, the screens still replayed human victories.
They are a biological anomaly, a cosmic joke, and they are ruining the games.
The evolutionary explanations spread across the feed. Some species were fascinated. Most were simply resentful. Drack studied the report again. The humans weren't cheating. They were simply better. And that was unacceptable.
If the rules cannot account for this, then the rules must change.
Sofia Mendez claimed her third gold in the 800-meter freestyle, a full half-length ahead. The water was her element, and the Galaxy her witness.
My grandchildren will see this. A grandmother from Sao Paulo, 3 galactic golds. They'll think it's a fairy tale.
Anna Kessler completed her sweep of the strategic sims, dismantling the reigning champion in 11 minutes. The sim room fell silent.
They play to win. I play to understand. That's the difference.
Earth's medal count cracked 100. The tally screen glowed with a column of human names so long it needed a second page. Informal protests began. Delegation heads gathered in corners, their whispers carrying further than they knew.
I hear you. The games are meant to celebrate unity, not to crown a single species monarch.
The complaints were polite, but their message was clear. The humans were not welcome to keep winning.
They want me to act, to draw the line, and I will.
In the human quarters, laughter echoed. They had no idea the rules were about to be rewritten around them. By day 6, Earth had taken 187 of 211 golds. The remaining events were little more than coronations. High Commissioner Drack filed a motion titled Proposal for Competitive Rebalancing of the 412th Pan-Galactic Games.
For the integrity of the games, I move to restrict participation from species whose natural attributes create an insurmountable advantage.
The motion landed on Robert Lynn's tablet before dawn. He read it in the dim light, his expression unreadable.
A polite ban. They've wrapped it in committee language, but the message is unmistakable.
The human delegation gathered in their quarters. Tyler read the motion aloud. The laughter died. The council convened within the hour. Every species would vote on whether to exclude humanity.
Let them see the logic. They will have no choice but to agree.
Robert Lynn straightened his suit. He had not yet told his team what he planned to say. The chamber doors closed. The fate of humanity's place in the galaxy's greatest tradition now hung on a single vote. High Commissioner Drac took the floor, his crest high, his voice carrying the weight of authority.
Honored delegates, the evidence is undeniable. Humanity's physiology grants them an accidental monopoly on excellence. To preserve the spirit of these games, we must act.
Heads nodded, appendages tapped. The room was prepared to vote humanity out. Then Robert Lynn stood. No thunder, no protest. Just a diplomat with a gentle smile.
Commissioner Drac is right. Humanity did not intend to dominate. We will withdraw from competition. We accept the rebuke. But instead of banning us, let us serve. We propose not to compete, but to coach, to share what we know with every species willing to learn.
Coach, you expect us to believe that your kind will simply teach others to beat you?
We expect nothing. We offer. If you vote to ban us, we will go peacefully. But if you allow us to coach, we will bring the whole galaxy to our level, and the games will mean more than ever.
The chamber erupted, not in anger, but in frantic consultation. For the first time, they were not discussing a ban, they were discussing a partnership. The vote was set, no longer to banish humanity, but to decide if they could become the galaxy's teachers. The voting consoles lit in sequence. Greens outnumbered ambers across the chamber. The tally locked, 40 species for the coaching pilot, 12 against approved.
The Council has decided. The Marith Confederacy will honor this experiment, though we remain skeptical.
On behalf of Earth, I thank the Council. We will prove this trust is well placed.
So, we really are out.
We are never out. We just change lanes.
I ran to win. Now I'll run to teach. Different finish line. My medals are nice. But theirs will be my legacy.
I am not coming home yet, Mo Anju. I am going to be a coach. You will see me on every world.
They will learn to think like us. That is scarier than any sim.
We came as a joke. We leave as mentors. Let us make the next games so competitive that our ban will look like the greatest gift we ever gave.
The first alien students would arrive in hours. The galaxy had no idea what it had just invited. The first training day arrived under a pale alien sun. Tyler Brooks faced his student, a tall, four-legged Qualaxi named Vethor.
We start with pacing. Don't sprint. Humans win because we endure, not because we're fast. Hold your stride.
Vethor bolted anyway, his forelegs eating the ground for a lap before collapsing, heaving. Tyler's stopwatch beeped failure. At the aquatic center, Sofia Mendez faced a sleek, aquatic alien who refused to even enter the water.
You have gills, meu amigo. Why so afraid? The water is your home.
Anna Kessler drew a three-dimensional strategy on the holographic board, but her student, a mantis-like being, only clicked its mandibles in confusion.
They see pieces. I see patterns. It's like teaching a language without a common word.
By nightfall, the human coaches gathered in a dim locker room, silence hanging heavier than any metal.
They don't trust us. They think this is a trick to keep them weak.
The pilot program, so brilliantly proposed, now teetered on the edge of collapse. High Commissioner Drac addressed the interstellar press, his crest sharp, his words sharper.
The coaching pilot is a farce. The humans cannot replicate their fluke. I move to suspend it before it damages the game's integrity.
Robert Lynn watched the feed in his office. A message from Earth's Foreign Office blinked insistently on his tablet. The message read, "Robert, the program is becoming a joke. Pull back before humiliation becomes permanent."
Pull back. We haven't even started. They wanted us to lose gracefully. Now they're angry we aren't winning fast enough.
He closed the message unsent. Instead, he opened a channel to his scattered coaching team.
I need every coach on the floor at dawn. We aren't quitting. We hold the line. If we believe in what we have, they will too.
The next morning, the coaches gathered in their respective training grounds, faces hollow but determined. Tyler nodded slowly.
Then let's teach them not to trust us. Let's make them too good to doubt.
Across the galaxy, skeptical eyes watched. The program had one last chance to prove it was not a polite joke. The next morning, Vethor arrived early. He stood silently on the track, then asked, "Show me again, not how to be fast, how to endure."
You run until you can't. Then you run one stride more. That's the human secret.
Weeks later, Vethor crossed a finish line at a local meet. Not first, but seventh. His time was his personal best by far.
7th, today, podium tomorrow. You believed me. That's already a win.
On the water world, Sophia's aquatic student finally dove, and when she surfaced, a new species record glowed on the board.
You see? The water never was your enemy. It was your mirror.
Anna's mantis-like student placed first in a regional strategy tournament, deploying a feint she had drilled 100 times.
They learned. Now, the galaxy will learn to fear the student, not the teacher.
The victories spread like wildfire. Species that had voted against the pilot now sent quiet inquiries. The coaching program was no longer an experiment. It was a movement. The coaching network expanded across a dozen worlds. Tyler Brooks now coordinated 40 trainers, his days a blur of holocalls and spreadsheets. But a new message landed on Robert Lynn's tablet, marked urgent, from Earth's Foreign Office. The message read, "Robert, the coaching program has become a galactic brand. We need to monetize, charge for access. Earth expects returns."
They forgot. We didn't come as merchants. We came as a joke that became a gift.
He called a holo conference with Tyler, Sophia, Anna. Their faces appeared, expectant.
They want us to sell the knowledge, put a price on hope. If we refuse, we lose funding from Earth.
That's not what we built. We didn't run for money. We ran to show what humans could be.
My students ask why I teach for free. I tell them my payment is their joy.
If we charge, only the wealthy species will learn. The point was to level the playing field.
Then we refuse. We'll survive on donations and goodwill. We always have.
Weeks later, the coaching program had expanded to 20 worlds, but Earth's funding freeze forced Tyler to ration equipment. Robert Lynn's tablet flashed, a motion by Commissioner Drack to review the coaching program's compliance with the rebalancing protocol.
Drack wants to brand us as a loophole. If he succeeds, we won't even be allowed to teach.
After all this, they still see us as a threat, not a gift. What do we do?
The council chamber buzzed. Drack stood, not to praise, but to prosecute.
The ban was meant to restore fairness, but these coaches have simply outsourced human dominance. Their students win, and we all know who trained them.
Our students win because we taught them to dig deeper than they ever knew they could. That is not dominance, it is empowerment.
The council moved to a preliminary vote. Should the coaching program be suspended pending full review? As the tally appeared, Robert received a private message from a coalition of species. "We will fund the program independently. You are not alone." The vote on suspension tied. Drack's crest flattened in frustration. The program would continue, but only by a single thread. 8 years later, the 413th Pan-Galactic Games opened in a gleaming new orbital stadium, twice the size of the old one. Human athletes did not compete, but in the opening ceremony, every delegation marched with a human coach at its side. Tyler, Sophia, and Anna led their students onto the field, their jackets bearing the logos of a dozen worlds. The results were absolute. Every single gold medal was won by an athlete under human training, from 17 different species. The galaxy watched as former rivals embraced their human coaches on the podium, tears streaming down alien faces.
I was wrong. Humanity did not ruin our games. They gave us the greatest gift, a reason to become better than we ever imagined.
Your apology is accepted, and in return, Earth withdraws our ban, voluntarily and permanently. We will only ever coach.
The council passed a unanimous resolution. The human coaching program was declared a permanent institution. Funded by the Republic itself, Earth's flags flew over training academies on 60 worlds, and the postal worker from Ohio now ran a track program on 6 of them. The joke was over. Humanity's peaceful conquest had turned the galaxy's greatest competition into a shared celebration. Robert Lynn retired to a quiet balcony overlooking the new Earth skyline, the stars no longer distant strangers but the lights of friends.
We came as a joke, but the punchline was peace. I can live with that.
6 worlds, 30 coaches, and 100 athletes who call me coach. Not bad for a guy who just liked to run.
Meu anjo, I finally came home, but now home is a dozen worlds, and I love them all.
The galaxy's greatest minds now study at the Kessler Institute. They begged me to name it after myself. I only agreed because it annoyed Drac.
A letter arrived, handwritten by a young alien. You taught me that victory is not about beating others, but discovering yourself. The wall of the Academy bore hundreds of such letters, each a testament to a joke that became the galaxy's gratitude, the original transport ship. Now a museum sat in a park where alien children played, pretending to be the champions who came from a death world. A golden plaque at its base read, "They came as a joke. They left as teachers." Tyler, Sophia, and Anna reunited at an Earth cafe, older but still the same souls who once laughed at the impossible. Beyond the window, the stars shone, and among them, 1,000 new champions trained by humanity's greatest gift, the refusal to believe any limit. At the Interstellar Coaching Academy's inauguration, Robert Lynn took the stage to a standing ovation from 100 species.
We entered the games as a joke, but we learned that our greatest advantage was not speed or strength. It was the simple, stubborn belief that every being can go further than they dream.
I once moved to banish them. Today I beg them to stay. Humanity's greatest gift was never their biology. It was their refusal to let others remain less.
The two shook hands on stage, the image broadcast to every world, a permanent symbol of the peace won not by war, but by a 67-year-old grandmother, a teenage chess prodigy, and a postal worker who just liked to run.
From delivering mail to delivering hope. Not the career I expected, but the one I'd choose again.
I taught them that the water is not to be feared. And they taught me that kindness is a universal language.
They said humans think outside the box. Today I saw 1,000 species draw their own boxes. That is the real victory.
The Academy opened its doors, and the first class of alien coaches walked through, trained by humans to train their own. The museum ship was permanently anchored, its plaque updated. They came as a joke. They stayed as teachers. They left as friends. And in the silence of space between the stars, a new motto echoed. Victory belongs to those who teach others to win. Night fell over the museum park. The ship's holographic flag still flickered, casting a pale blue glow over sleeping alien children. One child's finger traced the golden plaque. They came as a joke. They stayed as teachers. They left as friends. Robert Lynn sat in his study, a box of letters open on his lap. He closed it, and with it, a chapter of a life lived for others.
They asked us to lose. Instead, we taught them how to win. That is the only victory that ever mattered.
Some days, I still deliver packages. Just now they're filled with hope, wrapped in coaching journals, and addressed to a dozen stars.
My grandchild asked if I miss racing. I told her I race every day, against time, against doubt, against the idea that we are ever too old to change the universe.
The galaxy now plays a game I invented. I call it endless possibility. The only rule: there are no rules that cannot be rewritten.
The original broadcast of the 412th Games was still played in schools. Children of every species memorized the announcer's stunned silence, and then they would cheer, because the joke had become the galaxy's favorite memory. Far beyond, in the quiet of space, a star blinked, as if winking at the beautiful, stubborn species that refused to accept any finish line. The orbital stadium stood silent now, its landing bays dark. Only a single holographic loop remained, Tyler Brooks crossing the finish line, alone. Inside the museum ship, a child's question echoed off the old hull. A parent answered, "They didn't just win, meu anjo. They showed us that the only real competition is against the lie that we are not enough. Earth, a blue marble in the vastness, now ringed by a dozen coaching academies, each a beacon of that stubborn faith."
I will never see another games, but I see something better. A galaxy that knows how to run with us, instead of from us.
They called us a death world species. But our greatest gift wasn't survival. It was the refusal to let anyone else survive alone.
I still wake up early. Not to run from anything, just to remind myself that every finish line is just a new starting block.
And across the galaxy on 100 worlds, the sound of starting guns was no longer a threat. It was an invitation. The joke was now a legend. The postal worker, the grandmother, the chess prodigy, they had not merely competed, they had changed the rules of the universe. And in the silence, one star still winked, as if to say, "Told you so." The end.